G-R-U-N-D. ISLE Vigurusov.
Hello, and welcome to the Ben Jordan Marathon stream. I am Grundislav. I made these games, and I'm going to be playing them, and probably feeling really sad about them too, because they're old. In fact, fun fact, they're so old that I had to recompile them in AGS 3.3.5, because when I ran them as is, they changed my Windows color scheme, and I wasn't able to, they weren't compatible with the live stream, so I had to recompile them in order to get them to work. And Case 4 was so old that I had to download AGS 2.72 in order to get it to work, and then recompile it in 3.3.5. So, yes, these are point-and-click games, Misha. I'm sorry. If this is not what you're here for, then you probably want to leave now, because adventure games. So yeah, I'm gonna play through the first 4 games as best I can. Let me put on voice and text here so we can hear or read what's being said as well. And let's begin with Ben Jordan Case 1 in Search of the Skunk Ape, which is the deluxe version because I don't want to play the original version.
So you'd like to hear about how I got into this mess?
No.
How a regular guy ended up half a world away, unconscious in the backseat of a car belonging to a guy he thought he could trust but turned out to be his worst enemy? But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I should start from the very beginning. It's the best place, after all.
This was retcon.
My name is Ben Jordan. I was just your average college graduate, 22 years old, with no direction in life and a degree that got me nowhere except a sales job with a local bullseye. As a kid, I was in love with monster movies and anything to do with the paranormal.
See if that's better.
My family thought it was just a waste of time, except for my grandfather. Grandpa Arthur used to tell me ghost stories and legends he had heard while traveling through Europe in the 1920s. This really fueled my interest in the paranormal. By the time I finished high school, I was obsessed. I wanted to travel and see if the legends were true, but I had to put my dreams aside and go to college to appease my parents. I ended up studying international relations, which bored me to tears. So I passed the time by reading my books on the paranormal.
This is way too long an introduction.
Ideal career.
We don't need to know your life story, Ben Jordan.
One day I was browsing the web.
Although I guess we kind of do.
The Paranormal Investigator's Handbook by Professor Quincy Sanborn. I ordered it immediately and read it cover to cover the day it arrived.
This is an example of bad introductions.
It was then that I decided I was going to become a paranormal investigator. So after graduating, I asked my parents to loan me some money, advertised my services on the internet, and sat back waiting for the cases to come rolling in.
Also, that use of the Pink Floyd cover is probably violating about 20 copyright laws.
Chosen was going to change my life in more ways than one.
Oh, good. Hi, Anatoly. Ben Jordan, in Search of the Skunk Ape.
Started off with me receiving a phone call, but not one I was very happy about.
Oh man, you can totally hear the breaths and the clicks and the everything.
No, Mom, I told you. I've decided to become a freelance paranormal investigator.
And this was when I was crazy enough to lip sync.
I think it sounds crazy, but just trust me on this one. I think I've seen enough episodes of The X-Files to know that there's something out there.
Fun fact, I've never watched The X-Files.
I'll call you back in a few days.
Well, not a lot of it anyway.
I don't understand. It's been 3 weeks since I posted about my services on those forums. You'd think someone would have called by now. Hello? Yes, this is Ben Jordan. Sir, please calm down. I can't understand what you're saying.
Neither can I.
A skunk ape murdering people in the Florida Everglades? Okay, I'll go there as soon as I can. What did you say your name was? Ranger Morales. Okay, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Morales?
Well, that sure was weird.
That's not good.
Case. Time to buy a ticket to Florida.
Oh look, he's facing the wrong way.
Hello, I'm Ben Jordan. Are you Ranger Morales?
I'm afraid not, young man. I'm glad you've arrived, though.
What's the matter? Did something happen to him?
Oh!
Come with me.
Hello! I'm Christopher Walken, the Ranger. Welcome to Everglades National
Well,
Park.
Here he is. We found him here about an hour ago.
My God, what did this to him?
It seems that this was the work of a creature that up until now was just a legend. A monster known as
The skunk ape.
I guess I'd better start my investigation then.
Oh man. Well, so I mentioned before that I had to recompile these games, so I have no idea if they're going to work correctly or not, so this will be fun. I already see that probably the whole obsolete change room set position thing doesn't work anymore, so he's probably not going to be facing the right direction when he changes rooms, but we can overlook that. So yeah, this is the deluxe version, as I mentioned. I decided, the first Ben Jordan game, I made it in 2004, over a period of, I believe, 2 weeks. And at that point, I was just kind of like, well, I'm going to make a series of AGS games about a guy who goes around the world and solves mysteries that are real, because I really liked Gabriel Knight. And I figured that it would be fun to make something like Gabriel Knight. And when I made the first one, I had no idea how many games I was going to make. I had no idea what the story was going to be about. So I kind of just made it all up as I went along, which was pretty evident, especially considering that it took me 2 weeks to make. So at some point in 2006, after I had sort of come up with the whole overarching story for the whole series, I decided that it was probably a good idea to go back and fix things. And so I went back and I remade the game from the ground up. I didn't really change too much of the story. I mean, I kind of expanded it a little bit, but not really. And I redid all the graphics because as bad as this looks, the original one looked even worse. So, yeah. Ben Jordan has diagonal walk cycles, which I have never done again, because diagonal walk cycles are for crazy people. And I mean, they're a nice little additional detail, but they really don't add much to the game, especially in small walkable areas like these where there really isn't much justification for having them, but whatever. Also, I decided to fully voice the game, as you can probably tell. Probably not a great idea, considering the narrator is terrible.
The water flows past ever so slowly. You can see why this place is called the River of Grass.
More like River of Ass. Anyway, this is basically my Virginia Capers debut, which is not the best, but I figured I wanted to, if I had done all the Ben Jordan series voiced, I wanted each narrator to have or sound like they were from the place where the action was taking place, which, looking back, is probably a good thing I didn't end up doing, because it probably would have been terrible and racist sounding. So, right, we're investigating the skunk ape. I'm not going to play through these games very in depth. I mean, I'm just going to do the bare minimum, because I don't have a lot of time to be sitting here and playing the entire Ben Jordan series. I'm only going to do the first 4 today, and I'll probably do the next 4 tomorrow. They get longer as they go, but they're not super long games. You can probably finish each one in like an hour and a half, but still, that's like 4 hours. That's a long time to stream, so I'm going to be going through this quickly. So if you guys in the chat have any questions or anything about like the making of, or anything you want to know, no topic is off limits. Go ahead and ask. I'm just going to be playing and commenting as I go. I'm going to skip through most of the non-essential dialogue, and I'm not going to listen to the narrator text. I'm just going to kind of summarize what's happening. So basically, here we have old Christopher Walken Ranger, and we have dead Ranger Morales, which is the first in my little in-joke of, if someone named Morales calls you, they're probably dead by the time you show up. So we'll talk to... Oh yeah, also, I changed the icons up, because originally there was just one icon for talking, and for some reason I thought it would be a good idea to have talking and interrogation, and talking doesn't really do much except do stupid...
Are you okay?
Small talk.
Yes, I'm fine. Just a little jumpy is all.
So he'll say the same thing
Yes.
over and over again. There's really no point to that, but whatever. What programs did I use? Well, I used Adventure Game Studio to make the game, as you probably guessed. I used Photoshop to draw the backgrounds and to do the sprites and the animations, as I still do to this day. So, there you go. Let's talk to
Excuse me.
old Ranger
Yes?
Christopher Walken here. I believe we have to ask him about the
This
park.
is a nice park you've got.
Thanks. We rangers.
Yes,
park-
it's very
really
nice.
Can you tell me?
Have a
course.
map.
Over there.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, the score noise. I had a lot of fun with these score noises.
What can you tell me about the murders?
Oh my. Ranger Morales is the 5th person we found in the past 2 weeks. Before that, we lost another ranger, a young woman named Rita Myers. There was also a vacationing couple who were camping out in the woods, and the first person we found was a teenage boy who had gone out hiking.
That is a big
all
body
the bodies
count.
have had one thing in common.
And
Missing
they're
the
all
what?
missing
Yeah,
the
right.
livers.
When the
So we have to ask basically about
how
all
do you
this
know-
crap, and he tells us
What do you,
that once
What
we
is-
ask a lot about
I-
the skunk ape,
has it? So
we
glad I. Are there any? That's all.
right. So we come up with a plan, at which
So-
point he tells us that there's one ranger who might go out with us, Ranger Rick, which is named after a children's magazine that I was subscribed to when I was a kid about nature and stuff.
Tell me about.
But of course,
He
in
hasn't
true
been-
adventure game fashion,
Well, right. Do you know?
we can't.
No
Oh
problem.
right, so
If
this
you-
is Ernie the Ranger. He'll come into play. A little throwaway line will come into play later. Also, I just realized his hat looks a lot like the hat for the sprite that I just designed like 2 days ago, so I guess I haven't really learned how to draw hats. So here's design flaw number 1. A lot of people had trouble with this. You can't really leave this screen by walking off of the edge or anything. You have to open up your brochure and look at the map in order to access the game map. I should have changed it so that you could, in addition to doing that, walk off the screen edge, because it confused a lot of people, and rightly so. Bad design choice. Don't do that, Grundislav. So now if we look at the
Mutilated.
Ranger,
Feeling slightly nauseous.
we get our gory close-up inspired by the Dagger of Amon-Ra, right down to the music, which I shamefully stole from the Dagger of Amon-Ra from Quest Studios. So really the only reason, aside from getting a very detailed every single hotspot here, face, body, gaping wounds, pants, blood, I remember I actually lay down and took a picture of myself and traced over it to do this. That was pretty funny. Except for the gaping wound part, I added that in later. That was imagination. So let's see. Let's take this hair.
Did I
because-
say purse? I meant pocket.
All right, that was also a Laura Bow reference there. Hilarious. I made much more in-depth Laura Bow references. Oh, look at that! The music's still playing. That's gonna be fun. There's another bug with AGS. All right, well,
You open up the brochure.
let's see how that's gonna help. How that's gonna work out. Okay, good. We won't have to listen to the music every single place we go. That's good. Inspect the pants. Okay, I'll inspect the pants, just for you.
Yo.
What was I talking about? Oh, right, I made a much more in-depth Laura Bow reference when I made a game
Feeling-
called A Golden Wake. Wah, wah. Alright, let's look at the pants.
The ranger is wearing a pair of standard olive green pants.
Let's interact with the pants.
You search through the ranger's pockets, but find nothing of interest.
That looks like something of interest. I must have been excited when I made this game.
You can talk at the ranger.
Alright. Let's move on. Right, let's go visit Ranger Rick at the ranger station. So, when I was making this game, I didn't actually do my research and go out to the Everglades, even though I was living in Florida at the time. Since then, I have actually been to the Skunk Ape Research Center out in Okeechobee. And this little shack here, which I found a picture of online and traced over, because this was back in the day when I would trace over backgrounds because I was a hack. This is actually the world's, or the US's smallest post office, which is just down the street from the Skunk Ape Research Center in Okeechobee. So, there you go. Look at that door animation. That was pretty. Oh my god, why are you looking the wrong way, Ben Jordan? You're a weirdo. This track I recorded with my guitar and harmonica, which you can tell because the harmonica is not very in tune or well played and terrible. And I made a reference to it.
An old radio was blaring out some horrible blues tune. You were never really a fan of the harmonica.
Yep, neither was I. So here's Ranger Rick, who is played by Scum Buddy,
Can I ask you about some stuff?
aka Scott Nichols. And I think I based his character portrait on a guy that was in the movie called The Life of David Gale.
You're Ranger Rick, aren't you?
Yes, I am. What can I do for you?
My name is Ben Jordan. I was called out here by Ranger Morales.
Oh, you're the paranormal.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Right, so we can ask him about a bunch of crap, but we're gonna ask him about
We're
the
gonna suggest
plan
that he
to
said-
go out into
But
the
this wouldn't
thing.
feel right.
I've got a right.
No, I didn't.
Well, I guess.
Oh,
you
right,
would-
he's got a
But I
rifle.
should tell you. I mean,
Ben, I'm talking about.
oh, a nature amulet.
All right, there was a condom joke there. Right, so Ranger Rick wants a
What's a
nature
nature-
amulet
so
because
like-
he's
okay.
superstitious
Yeah.
because adventure games. So we have to make a
Okay, I'm-
nature amulet for him, which apparently means that we have to get animal hair and some sort of object of some importance or something. So let's go to the visitor center, where we have this lovely strange man who is played by Kenneth Hyde, aka Disco from the AGS
Hello.
forums.
Hey there, young man.
Lloyd Daniels, the protester. So if we
Tell me
talk to
about
him,
yourself.
My name is Lloyd Daniels. I'm an active.
Yes,
Among the
he's-
things I do are set up fundraisers, beach cleanups, and protests.
this guy is a very, very passionate environmentalist.
What exactly do you protest?
Any possible threat to the environment.
Some
You
would
have
say
no
one-dimensionally
idea
so.
how angry it makes me to see environmental injustices committed. If I see someone so much as look at a tree the wrong way, I'll go off like a rocket.
You seem very dedicated to your cause.
And how?
Interesting.
Have you ever heard of this guy?
Oh,
So
you-
he thinks the
I
skull
think I-
cape is fake,
Did
and
you-
What?
Are you-
he like whatever.
Nice park.
Nice? I don't see what's so nice about a bunch of rangers sitting around at their station eating sandwiches all day. While out here, the wetlands continue to disappear by the minute.
I don't know. It seems like the Rangers are doing a decent job.
Ah, shows what you know.
I remember when
Hug a
Disco
tree for
recorded
me.
this. Hug a tree for me. When Disco recorded this, he apparently had a sore throat, so he used that to. He channeled that into his character, which was very dedicated of him. Alright, so let's go inside the nature center. Nice automatic door. Also facing the wrong way. Ben Jordan just does not give a crap about where he is. He just walks in and immediately turns around and ignores everyone. Now, this receptionist's character portrait is based on Sam Gray, aka Zooty, who used to be the original co-host with me of the AGS PodQuest thing. And his voice is provided by none other than Dave Gilbert,
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to the Everglades National Park. How can I help you?
who is playing the role of Dave Gilbert. Poor Dave. So we talked to this guy. I don't think we have to actually talk to him about anything in particular. Where do we get the diuretic? Oh, right! I forgot to get the thing. Okay, hold on. Let me go back and go back to the ranger station real quick, because if we look inside the drawer in the ranger station, I knew there was a reason to go there besides talking to Rick.
You search through the drawers and find a box of diuretic water pills.
Diuretic water pills, a staple in any adventure game, which means if we
Yo.
can use them to make someone pee, which is always fun to do in adventure games. So, this was a new puzzle, because in the original version of Ben Jordan, you had to do some, like, Photoshop hacking of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and, like, the activist who was very passionate. You had to show it to him, and he thought that the receptionist was, like, stabbing her or something, or threatening her with a knife, and he would get all crazy on her, and then he could, you had to do that, excuse me, you had to do that as a distraction to take the alligator, the shark tooth from this display case, which is still here, and we need the shark tooth for the nature amulet. So, if you try and take the shark
Hey.
tooth here,
Please don't touch the display case.
right? So the
Oh.
receptionist is he's watching it obviously. But look, he has a mug which is not blue, surprisingly. And we can use the water pills to have him. This is such a stupid puzzle. We can put the water pills in his mug, and that makes him pee, but he goes into the bathroom and he pees, and when you try and... Well, we'll just do it. Why the hell not? Might as well. So let's put the things in his
You
mug.
take the opportunity to slip a water.
So he drinks it
The
with a
receptionist
strange
takes a
arm
big gulp
animation.
from it.
Oh man.
So he goes and he has to pee. What a terrible walk cycle. Right, so he's in the bathroom now, but if we try and steal the shark tooth...
You begin to lift up the glass, but just as you're about to take something from inside,
Hey, please don't touch the display case.
Oh, sorry.
So we have to find a more permanent way of getting rid of him. So,
darn, there has to be some way to get him out of the room for longer.
adventure game! So let's go into the bathroom. And in addition to all this standard bathroom stuff, we can take this roll of toilet
In
paper,
a fit of kleptomania,
which we can then throw into the toilet,
with childish delight, you toss...
and then flush it.
You flush the toilet. Oh dear, it seems that your throwing the toilet paper into the toilet has caused it to become clogged.
Also, we're in the bathroom, let's touch ourselves.
Now is not the time for that.
Yes, because if it's a Grundislav game, there's a masturbation joke in there somewhere. Oh wow, look at that! His arm was sticking out of the door. Oh boy. Alright, so let's give him the water pills now.
You take the
This is kind of a dumb puzzle, but I actually
reception...
really,
Oh man.
because I'm a child, I really like the outcome of it.
Ah, I don't believe this. The toilet is broken. I have to find some place to pee.
Hee. Uh-oh.
Thank goodness for that tree over there.
What the? Hey! Just what in the name of Gaia do you think you're doing?
Ah, well, the bathroom isn't working, so I thought I'd just...
Drown this poor tree in your bio waste product? How would you like it if someone decided to relieve themselves on you?
I guess I wouldn't.
Of course you wouldn't. I suppose you think it's okay just because it's a tree.
Well, I mean, it's not like you can feel it.
Oh, is that what you think? I've got some information for you, Sonny boy.
The man proceeds to yell at the porous.
Ha ha ha. Alright, now we can take the shark tooth.
Since the receptionist...
Stealing from national parks is fun, boys and girls. Also, there's another room over here, but we'll come back to it later. Because now we can also take the guy's sign.
You quickly take the sign into your possession.
And the sign, if we look at it, in addition to the shark tooth here.
The sign reads, "Save the wetlands."
Oh, wow, there's no description there. Well, that's silly. I guess if you touch it.
The signpost's
Yeah, there you
end
go.
has been filed down to a point. It's pretty sharp.
There's a hint. You have a
You
sharp
open-
point. Now if we go into the random forest area, because we have our shark tooth and we have our animal hair, but
The hair is too short and bristly to be woven into a necklace. You'll need to find a way to keep it together.
keep it together. So if we look at this tree,
A
there's
large
sap.
tree stands. You notice a few holes in the tree's bark where there's some dried sap.
And the sap is dried, so we have to heartlessly stab the tree.
Feeling no remorse, you viciously stab the tree with the pointed end of the picket sign. If the environmentalist saw what you were using a sign for, he'd kill you.
It would have been great if I had actually put in an animation there of him doing it, but sadly that's not the case. So we can use the hair on the sap,
Being careful not.
and now that we have sticky hair, we can use it with the shark
You
tooth
managed to weave the stick.
and make it into a necklace. But the necklace needs to be blessed by a shaman, or a shaman, or however you
Yup.
say that. But it just so happens, by an incredible stroke of luck, there is an animatronic Mikasuki, a Native American, in the next room. I'm not making this up. There he is. And there's a quarter stuck in the coin slot, which if we use the pen... Oh, right, yeah, you have to use the pen from the notepad. Wow, that's bad. You have to use the pen from the notepad on the coin slot to
You
push...
stick the pen into the slot. It seems.
Ugh, yeah, so then you get...
Hello, welcome to Everglades National Park.
No, there's a
I am
Nundo.
Sharpen Sawgrass, the shaman. For your generous donation, I will now give you good fortune by performing the blessing dance.
This is so...
The robot
so
begins some
xenophobic,
horrible
or
gyration.
whatever it is. Alright, so we know that this terrible robot does a horrible sort of like badger blessing dance, and we can take this quarter.
You.
So now that we have our amulet, we can put it in the robot's hand. I have not
Place
mentioned
that-
this stream on the AGS forum, actually, but I guess I could go do that right now. Or if you want to do that for me, that would be lovely. What did I just do? Oh right, there was an arrowhead in the thing too. Bonus. So now, all right. So let's put the quarter in his in here.
With the amulet on the.
Good to see that nice display again.
After the robot, it hasn't exactly been
Right. So in true adventure game fashion, we have to use a shoddy substitute for the real
Yup.
thing. So let's go give the amulet to Ranger Rick. Thank you, Misha. I appreciate it. You can tell it's been blessed by the little maggots crawling around it.
Here, I got you your amulet.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah,
I
right.
actually did a little...
Okay, we'll be
Wow.
ready to go
Good-
as soon as I
good
get
for
a
me.
few supplies together.
I'll meet you outside the station in a few minutes then.
Oh wow, look, we're almost done with the game. We have 50 of 68 points. Later that afternoon. God.
Here we are. This area is where we found all the other victims of the skunk ape.
And we're going to camp here?
Yeah, the skunk ape is probably nearby. I think this will be a good place to start tracking him from.
How exactly are we going to find him?
We'll go out looking for him later. In the meantime, I'm gonna start setting up the tent. You can look around if you want, but be careful you don't get lost. It may not seem like it, but it's really easy to lose your way out there. In fact, here, take my compass. It should come in handy.
Thanks, I guess.
Yes, it's very easy to lose your way out here. In fact, it's a maze. Now, I've always said that a big no-no is putting mazes in your adventure games. But, with the caveat that mazes are not fun if you basically have to navigate them through trial and error. This maze has a trick to it, which if we search through this backpack, it's a stupid trick, but it's still a trick.
You look through Rick's backpack and find a small bottle of nasal decongestant.
Hey, Rick, mind if I borrow this for a little while?
Not a problem. Be my guest.
He's busy setting up.
Right. So Ranger Rick, we know nothing about him except he's superstitious and he's out here with us. So that's not very good character development. So here's our maze. Our one-screen maze. I was actually pretty proud of myself at the time when I coded this because I did the old LucasArts or Sierra trick of using the same room just with different objects turned on and off, which you can tell because they have ridiculously obvious pixel halos around them. But if you just wander around randomly for a bit, you just kind of go and Yeah, there's a bush and some trees and another bush, and maybe I should have made them a little bit more dynamic, but whatever, you get the point. No, but we didn't go through the maze correctly. So you basically wander around till you're blue in the face, but the trick here is, somehow through this logic, is you're looking for the skunk ape and he smells. And now the music doesn't work anymore. So you use the bottle of nasal decongestant on yourself.
You spray the nasal decon.
And you get a nose icon, and you can smell.
Taking a deep breath.
And it tells you where the smell's coming from, so you just have to do this for a little while. And that's how you get through this maze. Which is kind of stupid, but
you take.
At least it's not randomly wandering around.
You in
east. And if you don't actually, I mean, if you memorize this, you can actually just do this without doing the nasal decongestant, but why would you do that?
Taking a
west. I don't even remember what the correct path is. I remember what the correct path is in Ben Jordan 8, but that's probably
getting
because
along.
It tells you. I don't know. Anyway, it's not a very long maze. It's just padding. It's whatever.
Taking a deep breath.
I added it because originally the skunk apes there was only like one screen away from the camp, and that seemed a bit too convenient. So, you're wandering around a swamp. You might as well do some homework. Or legwork and find where. Whatever. There we go. Oh boy, a cave! Or something. It's a mound, actually.
Upon entering the mound, you're struck with a distinct odor of rotten eggs, moldy cheese, and dung.
Man, it stinks in here. I guess I found the skunk ape's lair.
Guess so. Here's his nest. Let's take a stick from his nest.
Searching the nest, you find a large stick. In the center of the lair is a large hole. Unfortunately, it's too dark to see how deep it is or if there's anything in it.
Alright, so we have a flint arrowhead
carved from what appears to be flint.
And a steel compass.
It's Rick's trusted stainless steel compass.
So if we use them on each other,
striking the steel compass and flint arrowhead together creates a spark.
We get a spark, whatever that is. So I think that was the science officer on the Enterprise. But anyway, we can use the spark on the stick.
You strike the...
And we have a lit stick, which we can then use to look inside the hole. And
your heart beating quickly.
Things are gonna go crazy now. Here's our comic panel cutscene things, which I stole from Gabriel Knight. Oh my god! What is that? It's a bunch of white blocks of...
Rick, what's the matter, Ben? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I found the skunk ape's lair.
Was it inside?
Luckily, no. But I looked around and found a big hole in the ground. Inside the hole, I found a whole bunch of packets of cocaine.
Cocaine? Are you sure?
Well, I doubt the skunk ape is collecting sugar.
Oh, Ben,
why would there be
card.
a stash of drugs in the skunk ape's lair?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, good job on your discovery, Ben. I'm sure we'll figure out the deal with the drugs.
So what do we do now?
We should check out the lair together, but I think we should wait until dark, just in case the skunk ape is around.
Oh, dear.
We have a better chance of not being detected under the cover of darkness.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I've just finished setting up camp. Why don't you get a fire started and we'll cook some dinner?
Now Rick and Ben have their little bonding moment, which is a half-assed attempt to do some character development so that you sort of feel bad for Rick when he dies, like,
and I realized
in 5 minutes.
Spoilers! Wasn't what I wanted, so I decided to become a freelance paranormal investigator.
That's an interesting career option. I don't think there'd be much call for that sort of thing nowadays, but then here you are, so I guess you made the right choice.
I've been wondering about something. Has the skunk ape ever been active before the set of attacks?
Oh, here's some series foreshadowing.
I mean, there were stories about it, but never any actual evidence of its existence.
It's weird that it would just start attacking people for no reason. Well, maybe not no reason. There has to be some explanation for the drugs in the cave.
Speaking of which, I think it's about time we headed over there and checked it out. Have you got your rifle handy?
Yeah, I've got it right here.
You know how to use it, right?
Well,
No, actually. I've never really fired a gun before.
You better let me carry it then, just in case we get into trouble.
Okay, here you go.
Alright, let's get going.
See, this would have been a good opportunity
So
for
this is it, huh?
Rick
This is
to
Are you
show
sure
his
it's a
true
good idea to
colors,
be
which he
going
did
in
in the
alone?
actually
If Skunk Ape is in there, I'll just come back out.
Okay, I've got you covered.
in the original game. Rick showed his true colors, and he basically wanted the whole reason he wanted to come out here was because he wanted to find the skunk ape and kill it and have it stuffed, and it was gonna like he was gonna get money for selling the skunk ape to a museum or something. I don't remember if I kept that in this one. I hope I didn't, because that's really
Much to your
stupid.
relief, you see that the skunk ape has not returned to its lair yet. Suddenly, you hear some commotion outside.
Oh no. Oh boy, it's Blanca from
Careful,
Street
Ben,
Fighter
this thing
2.
means business. Alright, you stinking ape. Get ready to meet whatever crazy entity made you.
What? You're going to shoot it?
Do you know how much the Smithsonian would pay to have one
I
of
guess
these
I did
things
keep that.
on display? I can make enough money to get out of this swamp and start a real life.
But I thought you said you liked being a park ranger.
You try spending your days being bitten by mosquitoes and lectured by smelly old hippies and tell me how you'd like it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to shoot this animal.
Rick, look out!
What the?
Oh boy, dramatic cutscene. Oh! Gore, hidden by silhouette. Run away, Ben Jordan, run away.
After running for what feels like hours, you finally seem to have lost the skunk ape.
Oh,
Now
man.
it's just a question of finding your way out of this forest.
See, that character arc would have worked way better if we actually had spent any decent amount of time with Ranger Rick before that happened. And yeah, then it probably would have been more impactful. But made this game in like a month or two. So, whatever. Learning experiences and all that. Also, we're almost done. We're only 4 points away from the end.
You decide to see if anyone is home.
Just a minute. No, could that be at this time of night? Who is it?
My name's Ben Jordan. I'm being chased by a giant monster.
Oh yeah, that sounded perfectly reasonable.
Shut up, narrator. No one asked you.
Alright, hold on a second. Come on in.
You got a pretty mouth,
Thanks,
boy.
sir. I really appreciate you letting me in.
Call me Jay. You ain't from around these parts, are you?
No, actually, I'm not.
So what are you doing out in the woods this late at night?
Have you ever heard of the skunk ape?
Did you say the skunk ape was chasing you?
Yeah, you know about it?
Boy, you've been living in the woods as long as I have. You've seen everything. How'd the skunk ape find you anyway?
Well, I found him, actually.
So naive
Yeah.
Ben Jordan
Well, make it-
tells this guy that he's found the skunk
Jed
ape.
disappears into
And then surprise, surprise! Oh, he's got all the
Well, I
cocaine.
guess I should have
He's
told
got
you
a
not
he's
to
got
come
a
in here.
Scarface
Set
mountain of
yourself
cocaine.
up.
Wait a minute.
That's right. I was wondering.
So now he
if you were still
reveals
awake.
his little
So you
evil
think-
plan
It's
about how
crazy.
he
We're
steals
gonna
drugs
hide
and
out
hides
here in
them,
the
and he
middle of the
has
woods. One day I have
an
to find
electronic
skunk
collar
ape
on the
lair,
skunk ape that
and
he
he
uses to
couldn't do me
control
until
him.
I was-
Jesus
Don't tell
Christ.
me
Yeah.
That's so...
So I took advantage.
And so
managed
he
to get
feeds
an
the
electronic
the
collar
skunk
on him
ape is
so I could give him a
addicted to
little
drugs
shot to get out
apparently
of
too.
control, or if I need
So we have to send him to
I'll
skunk ape rehab as soon as he calls him. That was my old TV remote. So now we flip the table. Oh, we missed a point. Oh, I guess I didn't talk further. Oh, he gets covered in cocaine. The skunk ape grabs him. And Ben runs away, and now he rips his head off. And we're supposed to be able to discern that from these little panels, but... Oh well. Oh my god, what happened to...
Ben. you're
What
back
happened? He
already?
disappeared.
What happened?
He was a ghost.
It's a long story.
What about?
Thanks.
Alright.
Alright, Ben, take care of yourself. Goodbye.
So that's how I broke into the whole paranormal investigating thing.
And managed to survive it.
Needless to say, the next few months will be filled with more mysteries and danger than I ever thought possible. But those are stories for another time.
Sequel bait. Hey, end credits. Wow, well, that was an experience. Oh yeah, Davey helped me with this. I forgot about that. Andreas Slot, he did a great job on the music for the first few games, definitely. And Pettery, he composed this you're listening to right now. And yes, my ripoff of Laura Bow. Man, what a silly game. But people seem to like it, so hey, I would never get away with something like this nowadays. It was probably probably one of the dialogue options with Ranger Rick that I didn't pick. I like to reward people for exhausting dialogue trees back in the days when I gave people scores. Oh, Dave beta tested this. It's the only Ben Jordan game he played, I think. Ha ha ha, don't make filmed on location jokes in your games, people. And don't make those jokes either. No, thank you for playing. Oh, post-credit scene now. Oh, mysterious. Rome, Italy? That's not Florida. What are those red dots on the map? In California and Scotland and Greece.
Senor, I have good news. We found another one. Excellent.
A hooded figure? That's never good news in games like this. Oh, an AGS crashed. Fantastic. Well, that was Ben Jordan 1. Let's move right along to Ben Jordan 2 Deluxe, which is slightly more